Good day to everyone. This is Mama Juan. And for this video, ang pag-uusapan po natin is conceptual framework and accounting standards, particularly PAS number 28, investment in associates. Okay? Pero bago natin pag-usapan yung standard mismo, let's talk first about the term investment. Okay. Pag sinabi natin investment, yung papasok sa isip natin is that merong dalawang parties na involved. Yung isang party nag-invest. Yung isang party pinag-invest na. Okay? Yung party na nag-invest, commonly nire-refer natin siya as investor. Yung party na pinag-investan, nire-refer natin siya as investor. So, in an investment, there is an investor-investor relationship. So, the question is, nasan si associate doon sa story? Sino si associate doon sa parties na pinag-usapan natin? Okay? And in order for us to understand it better, let's discuss into details the standard, Philippine Accounting Standard number 28, investment in associates. So, dito muna ako sa tabi. Okay? Dito tayo sa gilid. Alright. As defined by the standard, associate is simply the entity over which the investor has significant influence. Okay, so ibig pong sabihin, ito palang standard na to ay on the point of view of the investor. At kapag ang isang investor ay nag-invest sa isang entity, and incidental to that investment ay nagkaroon siya ng significant influence, yung investee or yung kanyang pinag-investan will be referred to as associate. So, ibig pong sabihin, dun sa kaninang question natin, sino si associate doon sa investor-investor relationship, then the answer to that is that associate is the investee. Okay? Pumasok lang po sa eksena yung significant influence. Ano po bang ibig sabihin ng significant influence? According to the standard, significant influence is the power to participate in the financial and operating policy decisions of the associate. So please take note, hindi po natin pinag-uusapan ng control or joint control. We are just talking about the power to participate sa policy making. So, kung ang investor ay merong power to participate in policy decision making, then meron siyang significant influence. Meron po bang sinabi ang standard kung ano ang ating mga pwedeng pagbasehan kung merong significant influence ang isang investor? Ang sabi ng standard, it's a matter of assessment. It's a matter of judgment. However, nag-provide ng practical guide. Ang sabi, ang tingnan natin is ilang porsyento ba ng ordinary shares ng ang hawak ng isang investor. Okay? Kapag ang percentage is 20% or more, up to 50%, the presumption is merong significant influence. But if it is less than 20%, the presumption is wala pong significant influence. Okay? Ang sabi presumption lang. Ibig kong sabihin, if merong indicators that will serve as an evidence na kahit, let us say, less than 20% yung hawak niya, pero may mga evidences and indicators na nagsasabing meron siyang significant influence, then let's disregard the percentage na hawak niya and focus on the indicators. Ano yung mga indicators na yun? For example, the investor, meron siyang representation sa board of directors. Okay, ano pa? Involved siya sa policy making. So kahit 15% lang yung hawak niya, pero involved siya sa policy making, we can say na merong significant influence yung investor na yan. Ano pa? There is a major transaction between the investor and the investee. Or nagkakaroon ng interchange ng managerial personnel between the investor and the investee. Okay, so those are among the indicators ng significant influence. And in the event na merong significant influence, ang isang investor, again, meron tayong investment in associate na pinag-usapan. Okay? And after identifying na merong significant influence, ang sunod nating itatanong is that, how will it be measured? Paano natin i-account ang investment in associates? According to the standard, the investment in associate is measured using the equity method of accounting. Ang equity method of accounting, ang tinitingnan dyan, economic relationship. Ano pong ibig sabihin nun? Yung investor at investee, tinitingnan siya as a single economic unit. Okay? That is the idea or that is the principle na tinitingnan kung equity method yung gagamitin natin. Okay? And as a method of accounting, meron tayong accounting procedures na susunod. So, isa-isahin po natin yung accounting procedures. First, the investment is initially recognized at cost. Well, commonly naman, investment is an asset on the point of view of the investor. Babalikan natin ulit, sabi ko kanina, this is in the point of view of the one investing. So, it is an asset, and usually assets are being recognized at cost. Okay? Second, the carrying amount is increased by the investor's share of the profit and decreased by the investor's share of the loss. So, kagaya lang yan ng normal na pag-i-invest. Ano? Halimbawa, ako yung investor, kayo yung investee. So, kung mag-i-invest ako sa inyo, maapektuhan ng performance ninyo yung investment ko sa inyo. If you perform well, then my investment will be okay, will be good. But kung hindi magandang performance nyo, pababa din yung carrying amount ng aking investment. That is why, in the case na nag-profit kayo, nagkaroon kayo ng net income, yung share ko dun sa profit ninyo will increase the carrying amount of my investment. At kung nalugi kayo, yung share ko sa loss nyo will decrease my carrying amount of my investment. Kung profit po yung pag-uusapan, kung share sa profit ang pag-uusapan, yung account title na ginagamit natin doon is investment income. Pero kung share in loss yung pinag-uusapan, yung account title na ginagamit natin doon is loss on investment. Okay? So, yun yung ipapartner natin sa investment in associate account. Okay. Next. Dividends received from an equity investee reduce the carrying amount of the investment. So, kagaya lang ng usual na reason kung bakit tayo nag-i-invest, syempre, nag-i-invest tayo para kumita. Okay? And kung nag-invest ako sa shares ninyo, I am a shareholder, and as a shareholder, I am entitled to the dividends. And every time bibigyan o magkakaroon o magdi-declare kayo ng dividends, makaka-receive ako ng dividends, the effect of the dividends na na-receive ko sa inyo is a reduction in the carrying amount of my investment. Okay? Next. Please take note that the investment must be in ordinary shares. Okay. Kapag nag-invest ako sa inyo, pero ang hawak kong investment ay preference shares, hindi siya qualify doon sa investment in associate criteria of under PAS number. Okay? Kasi wala namang voting power ang preference shares. Okay? Next. Ito yung sinasabi natin kanina. If the investor has significant influence over the investee, then the investee is said to be an associate. Next. The investment in associate accounted for using the equity method shall be reported as non-current asset. Okay po. So, again, since we are talking about the investor's point of view, siya yung may investment, it is considered to be an asset. Specifically, it is to be presented as part of non-current asset. Okay, hin-highlight ko na dyan, in-underline ko na dyan yung mga important terms na kailangan mo tandaan. Okay. So, kanina, sabi natin, investment is initially recognized at cost. Ano ba yung cost na tinutukoy dito? This is actually the acquisition cost. Okay? Ito yung amount na binayad mo or amount na ibabayad mo in uh, in exchange of your investment. Okay. Now, there is a possibility of excess of cost over carrying amount. Kailan to nangyayari? Kailan nangyayari yung excess of cost over carrying amount? So, for example, as stated in the standard first, pala muna, if the investor pays more than the carrying amount of the net assets acquired, the difference is commonly known as excess of cost over the carrying amount. Okay. So, simple ng sinasabi. Napaka-literal yung sinasabi nung term. Excess of cost over the carrying amount. Kailan nangyayari yung ganitong scenario? Ang tinutukoy natin na cost doon, again, as I've mentioned earlier, this is the amount na ibabayad mo doon sa iyong investee or amount na ibibigay mo doon sa iyong investee in exchange noong investment mo sa kanya. Ang carrying amount na tinutukoy dito, ito yung book value or yung carrying amount nung ininvest mo. So let us say, net assets ng investee, let us say 100,000. And then you invested 20%. You acquired 20% of that 100,000. So it is equivalent to 20,000. Okay? Pero nagbayad ka, let us say, ng 25,000. Okay? So ibig kong sabihin nun, your cost is higher than the amount or the carrying amount nung binili mo. Yung value lang ng binili mo is just 20,000. Binayaran mo ng 25,000. So there is a difference of 5,000. And that 5,000 is referred to as the excess of cost over the carrying amount. Okay? Okay. Now, ma'am, bakit po nagkakaroon ng possibility na magbabayad ka ng mas mataas kaysa dun sa carrying amount or book value ng binili mo? Okay? As stated in the standard, the excess can be attributable to, first, undervaluation of the investee's assets, such as building, land, and inventory. Okay. So, syempre, kung nasa libro yan, yung book value na tinatawag natin. So, halimbawa, 100,000 yung book value nga ng net assets ng ating investee, pero yung kanyang building, yung kanyang land, yung kanyang inventory is undervalued. Ibig kong sabihin, mas mataas yung kanyang value talaga kaysa doon sa value niya sa libro. Okay? That is a possibility. Pero kung wala namang undervaluation, ibig sabihin lahat ng amount na nandoon sa libro ng ating investee ay proper value, appropriate value, then the excess of cost over the carrying amount is being attributed to goodwill. Okay. Now, ano po ang mangyayari? Paano po ang accounting kapag po ang excess na yon ay attributable sa undervaluation? It depends on whether is it a depreciable asset po ba? Is it a non-depreciable? Okay, so tingnan po natin. If the excess is attributable to undervaluation of depreciable asset, it is amortized over the remaining life of the depreciable asset. Okay, pagka sinabi natin depreciable asset, technically, asset na nagde-depreciate. Ano yung sample ng asset na nagde-depreciate? Building. Okay? So, yung 5,000, if it is attributable to the building, then the 5,000 will be amortized over the remaining life of the building. If it is attributable to the undervaluation of land, hindi po natin siya i-amortize. Bakit? Kasi ang land, hindi naman siya depreciable. Wala naman siyang useful life na tinatawag. Hindi naman bumababa ang value niya, more on nag-appreciate ng value ng ating data. Next, if the excess is attributable, ay bago pala yon. Ma'am, kung hindi po siya i-amortize, paano po ang accounting doon? Ibig sabihin po, the excess will remain to be there. Okay? Ang gagawin natin doon, mawawala lang siya, mawawala yung excess na yun, i-recognize natin yung excess na yun the moment na naibenta na yung land. So it will be expense kapag ka naibenta na yung land. But for as long as the land is there, it will be attributable. It will be not amortized. It will not be amortized. Okay? Next, if the excess is attributable to the inventory, so the amount will be expensed when the inventory is sold. Okay? And if it is attributable to goodwill, hindi po ina-amortize. However, it is to be included in the carrying amount of the investment. Okay? Hindi sila ina-amortize, pero the investment, including the goodwill, will be subjected to test for impairment. Okay? Next, paano naman po yung excess of fair value over cost? Ano naman yung scenario na yun? Kabaliktaran naman nung kanina. Okay? Ang meron naman dito, yung value nung in-acquire mo ay mas mataas kesa dun sa cost na binayaran mo. So, baliktarin natin yung sitwasyon. Yung cost na binayaran mo is 25,000, pero yung value niya ay 30,000. So, mas malaki yung fair value kesa doon sa cost. In that case, kumita ka na. Doon pa lang kumita ka na. So, it will be included as income in the determination of investor share in the profit or loss of the investee. So, halimbawa, 2019 mo siya in-acquire o 2019 ka nag-invest. Okay? So, sa year 2019, i-recognize mo na as investment income yung excess of fair value over the cost. Okay? Next, sabi ko kanina, ang carrying amount ng investment in associate as well as or including the goodwill will be tested for impairment. Okay? Kailan po ba natin masasabi na merong loss on impairment or impairment loss? Okay? You will be comparing the carrying amount of the investment and its recoverable amount. Yung carrying amount, it's the book value of the investment. Kanina, na-mention na natin kung ano-ano yung mga nakaka-apekto sa carrying amount, right? Like, share in the profit of the investee, share in the loss of the investee, the dividends received. So those are the things affecting the carrying amount of the investment in associate, including the goodwill. Now, you will be comparing that to the recoverable amount. And what do we mean by recoverable amount? As the term suggests, it is the amount that can be recovered. And how are you going to compute for that? Recoverable amount is measured as the higher between the fair value less cost of disposal and value use. Okay? Pag sinabi mong fair value, price that would be received to sell an asset in an orderly transaction between market participants at the measurement rate. So, ang titingnan natin dito, pag binenta natin yan, magkano ang kanyang market price or magkano ang kanyang fair value in a selling situation. However, kapag value in use naman, it is the present value of the estimated future cash flows expected to arise from the continuing use of an asset and from the ultimate disposal. Okay, so dito naman, hindi yung selling price ang pinag-usapan natin. Yung value niya kapag siya ay continuously ginamit. Okay? Kung alin na mas mataas doon sa kanilang dalawa, that is the recoverable amount. Yung recoverable amount na yun, i-compare sa carrying amount ng investment in associates. Kung mas mataas yung carrying amount kasi sa recoverable amount, we can say that the investment in associate is impaired. There is an impairment loss to be accounted for. Okay. Paano naman po kung yung ating investee, bukod doon sa ordinary shares, ay meron ding ini-issue na preference shares? Okay, so babalikan natin yung ating learnings from the corporation accounting. Depende kung ang preference share ay cumulative or non-cumulative. Okay? Alam natin na ang preference shareholders ay merong characteristic as a creditor. Anong ibig sabihin nun? By form, shareholder siya. Shares yung hawak niya talaga. But in substance, pinaprioritize kasi siya. Ang preference share, meron yung fixed na shares, fixed na dividends na binibigay. Fixed percentage as dividends. Okay, so kung ang investee or yung associate natin ay meron ding in-issue na preference share, before mo computin yung share mo sa earnings or losses ng investee, ibabawas mo muna yung dividends ng preference shares nila, whether or not such dividends are declared, because cumulative preference shares siya. Pero kung non-cumulative preference shares yung in-issue ng investee mo, then ibabawas mo lang yung preference dividends only if the dividends is being declared, had been declared rather. Okay? Next. Discontinuance of equity method. PIS 28, paragraph 22 provides that an investor shall discontinue the use of the equity method from the date that it ceases to have significant influence over an associate. So, tatandaan natin na ginagamit ang equity method kung merong significant influence. And the moment na mawala na yung significant influence, i-discontinue na natin yung paggamit ng equity method. Kung hindi na equity method yung gagamitin natin, we will be using either financial asset at fair value through profit or loss, financial asset at fair value through other comprehensive income or OCI, and non-marketable investment at cost or investment in unquoted equity instrument. That's non-marketable. Okay? Measurement after loss of significant influence. So, dahil natitigil na tayo sa paggamit ng equity method, on the date na mawala yung significant influence, the investor shall measure any retained investment in associate at fair value. So, shift tayo. Yung investment in associate account title or yung account natin, i-measure na natin siya at its fair value. Hindi na sa kanyang carrying amount. The difference between the carrying amount and the fair value shall be included in the profit or loss. So let us say, ang carrying amount is 100,000. Its fair value is 150,000. So the 50,000 difference will be included in the profit or loss. Alright? So, doon po natatapos yung story ng ating investment in associates. So, yung mga takeaways natin doon, okay, nagkakaroon ng investment in associate kung mayroong significant influence ang investor sa kanyang investee. Equity method yung ating ginagamit. Under the equity method, initially recognize it at cost and then subsequently measure it at its carrying amount by adding shares in profits, deducting share in losses, reducing it in case of dividends received. Okay. Also, we need to account for excess. Either it's an excess of cash, excess of carrying amount, um, excess of cost over carrying amount, or excess of fair value over cost. Also, napag-usapan din natin na in the case na tumigil or nagkaroon or nawala yung significant influence, ibig sabihin, hindi na siya qualified to use the LTD method. If that is the case, then the investor can present it and can measure the investment at fair value through profit or loss, fair value through other comprehensive income, and non-marketable instrument in unquoted instrument. Okay. So, pagka nagkaroon ng shifting from the equity method to the fair value method, ang titingnan natin or i-compare natin the carrying amount and the fair value. The difference is to be presented or to be included in the profit and loss. So, basically, dun lang po umiikot ang standard PAS number 28, investment in associates. So, pag-usapan natin ang ibang standards or pag-usapan natin yung application ng PAS 28 in a different field. Thank you for listening.